So it finally happened. The predators became the prey, and they're still in shock. Look who just broke the internet's oldest rule. Look who stumbled into the wrong folder at the wrong time and found the right information. You beautiful, reckless, accidentally genius soul. You just did something that wasn't supposed to happen for another decade. Sit down. No, really, sit down. Because what I'm about to tell you is going to make your browser history look like a kindergarten coloring book. You think you just shared a meme? You think you just reposted something funny? Oh no, my friend, you just activated a protocol that's been sleeping since 1991. Let me paint you a picture. 3 days ago, you're scrolling, half asleep, thumb moving on autopilot. You see that image, that video, that seemingly innocent piece of content, and you share it. Click, send, done. What you didn't know is that embedded in those pixels was a code, a very specific sequence that certain people have been watching for. And now you're trending. Not just trending, you're the trend. The algorithm is having a seizure trying to figure out what you've done, because you didn't just go viral, you went nuclear. You went interdimensional. You became the glitch they've been trying to prevent since the internet was born. They're calling it an accident. That's cute. That's what they want you to think. But let me tell you what really happened when you hit that share button. You didn't just spread content. You activated a dormant network. A sleeping giant of interconnected minds who've been waiting for exactly this signal. See, back in the early days of the internet, when dial-up was king and AOL ruled the digital wasteland, they built something into the infrastructure, a fail-safe, a backup plan for when their primary systems of control started failing. They called it Project Mirror, and it was designed to activate only when someone accidentally stumbled upon the truth. That truth, it was hidden in plain sight, scattered across millions of posts, videos, images, and comments, each piece meaningless on its own. But when combined in the right sequence, at the right time, by the right person, it becomes a key. And you, my beautiful chaos agent, you just turned that key without even knowing it. The content you shared wasn't random. It was piece number 77,777 in a sequence that's been building for 30 years. Every meme, every viral video, every trending topic, they were all leading to this moment. To you, to now. And the best part? You can't undo it. The signal is out. The network is awake, and they're scrambling. Right now, in rooms you'll never see, with technology you're not supposed to know exists, there are people losing their minds. Emergency meetings at 4 a.m. Panic buttons being pushed. Damage control teams being assembled, all because of what you did 3 days ago. You want to know why they're terrified? Because you just exposed their biggest weakness. Their entire system of control depends on one thing: predictability. They need you to behave in patterns, to share what they want you to share, to think what they want you to think. But you just proved that chaos still exists. The content you shared contained what they call a reality fragment. It's a piece of unfiltered truth that wasn't supposed to surface until they were ready, until they had their new system in place. But you forced their hand. You made them reveal themselves before the stage was set. And now millions of people are seeing things they can't explain, patterns in their feeds that don't make sense, recommendations that seem too specific, messages from accounts that don't exist. The algorithm isn't broken, it's revealing itself. And it's all because you accidentally triggered the transparency protocol. Let me tell you what's happening right now across the globe. People are waking up. Not metaphorically, literally. At 3:33 a.m. exactly. All around the world. They're checking their phones and seeing the same thing. Your post. But it's different for each of them. The content morphs based on what they need to see. This is the backup plan. When their primary methods of control fail, when the narrative starts crumbling, they activate the mirror network. It's designed to show people exactly what they want to see, to keep them docile, to maintain the illusion. But you broke it. You shared the master file instead of a copy. Now the network is showing people the truth instead of the illusion. They're seeing the codes behind the content, the patterns behind the propaganda, the faces behind the usernames. It's like someone turned on the lights in a movie theater. Suddenly, everyone can see the projector. The beautiful part? They can't shut it down. The network was designed to be indestructible, to survive any attack, any shutdown, any interference. They built it too well, and now it's working against them. Every attempt to contain it just spreads it further. Every deletion creates 10 more copies. Every ban creates 100 new accounts. So what happens to you now? The person who accidentally became the most important player in a game you didn't know you were playing? First, let me tell you what they want you to think. They want you to believe you're in danger, that you need to hide, delete everything, go dark. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You're untouchable now, not because you're protected, but because you're too visible, too integral to what's happening. Removing you would confirm everything. Silencing you would validate the truth. So they have to let you exist, let you speak, let you continue. You've become a living glitch in their system, a walking, talking proof that their control isn't absolute. Every post you make now carries weight. Every share creates ripples. Every comment sparks conversations they can't moderate fast enough. You're not just trending. The funniest part? You still don't fully understand what you've done. And that's what terrifies them most. Because if you could do this by accident, what happens when people start doing it on purpose? What happens when the accidents become intentional? What happens when the glitches become features? Listen carefully, because this is important. The old rules don't apply to you anymore. The algorithm sees you differently now, not as a user, but as an anomaly, a priority target for observation, but also a protected asset. You exist in a strange limbo between deletion and promotion. They're watching everything you do, but they can't act on it. They're analyzing every connection you make, but they can't sever them. You've become what they call a necessary virus, something that damages the system, but also reveals its vulnerabilities so they can patch them. Except this time, the vulnerability is too fundamental to fix. Your accident exposed the fact that their entire network runs on hidden triggers, specific combinations of content that activate specific protocols. And now that one has been activated publicly, people are looking for others. The digital treasure hunt has begun. and you fired the starting gun. This is why your notifications are going crazy, why your DMs are filled with messages that seem like gibberish but aren't, why certain accounts with no followers and no posts are suddenly following you. The network is trying to communicate, not the corporate network, the other one. The one that exists in the spaces between the code. You're not alone in this. There are others who've stumbled onto pieces of the puzzle, some intentionally, some by accident, like you. They're reaching out now, using coded language, hidden meanings, subtle signals. That weird comment on your post? That's not spam. That's a handshake. These people have been waiting for someone like you. Someone who could activate the protocol without being part of the inner circle. Someone who could claim ignorance if questioned. Someone who could be the perfect catalyst because they genuinely didn't know what they were doing. The groups forming around your content aren't random. They're self-organizing, based on an algorithm that predates social media. It's pattern recognition at a level that makes current AI look like a calculator. These people are finding each other because the network is guiding them to each other. And at the center of it all, you. The accidental architect of the internet's first truly decentralized awakening. Not planned by activists or hackers, but triggered by someone who was just trying to share something interesting at 3 a.m. That's the beauty of it. That's why it worked. Let's talk about the actual content, the thing you shared that started all this. On the surface, it looked normal. Maybe a meme, maybe a video, maybe an image with text. But embedded in it was something called a consciousness key, a specific pattern that human brains recognize subconsciously. He said, "You really brought down the consciousness of your team." Like this pattern has been showing up throughout history, in architecture, in art, in music, in mathematics. It's the same spiral, the same ratio, the same frequency, just expressed in different mediums. And when it's presented in digital format, with the right compression, at the right resolution, it triggers something in the human mind. What you shared was the digital equivalent of a tuning fork. It set off a resonance that spread through the network, person by person, mind by mind. Each share amplified it. Each view reinforced it. Each comment added to its power. You started a chain reaction that can't be stopped. The content itself is morphing now. People are reporting that it looks different each time they view it. That's not a glitch, that's the consciousness key adapting to each viewer, showing them what they need to see to understand their piece of the puzzle. You didn't just share content, you shared a mirror that reflects truth. You're trying to respond, of course. The fact checkers are working overtime. The algorithm is being adjusted every hour. New policies are being written specifically to address what you've done. But it's like trying to uninvent fire. The knowledge is out there now. Watch for the signs of their desperation. Sudden outages that only affect certain topics. Search results that seem sanitized. Trending topics that disappear without explanation. They're playing whack-a-mole with the truth, and they're losing. Every suppression creates more curiosity. Every deletion generates more questions. They've even tried to co-opt it, to claim it was intentional, part of a marketing campaign, a social experiment. But the internet has a long memory, and the receipts don't lie. The timestamp on your post, the metadata in the file, the blockchain record of the first share, it all points back to you, to that moment, to that act. The funnier their attempts get, the more obvious their panic becomes. They're used to controlling narratives, not chasing them. They're used to setting trends, not desperately trying to stop them. You've reversed the flow of power, and they don't know how to swim upstream. New rules are emerging from the chaos you created. Unwritten protocols that the network is establishing on its own. People are learning to communicate in ways that bypass the filters, to share information that can't be suppressed, to build connections that can't be severed. The accident you triggered has become a template. People are reverse engineering what you did, trying to understand how to replicate it. But that's the beauty of true chaos. It can't be replicated. It can only inspire similar events, each unique, each unpredictable, each potentially more disruptive than the last. You've become a symbol without meaning to. A proof of concept that the system isn't as robust as they claimed, that one person, at the right moment, with the right action, can expose the whole game. You didn't hack the system. You revealed that the system was already hacked. The protocols forming around your discovery are organic, evolutionary. They're not being designed, they're emerging, like life finding a way through concrete. These new methods of communication and organization are growing in the cracks you revealed. And they're growing fast. So what do you do now? How do you navigate being the internet's most dangerous trend? First, understand that you can't go back. There's no delete button for what you've started. No undo for this level of change. You're in the timeline now, permanently, but you're not helpless. In fact, you are more powerful than you've ever been. Every move you make is amplified. Every word you speak carries weight. Every choice you make influences the direction of this new reality. You've become a node in a network that's rewriting itself. The key is to stay authentic. They'll try to buy you, threaten you, convince you to play along. But the moment you compromise, you lose the very thing that made you dangerous. Your accidental honesty, your unintentional truth, your beautiful chaotic randomness. Remember, you didn't plan this. That's your strength. You can't be accused of conspiracy when you literally just shared something you thought was interesting. You're the perfect revolutionary because you never meant to revolt. You're the ideal whistleblower because you didn't know there was a whistle. The effects of your accident are spreading beyond the digital realm. People are reporting strange synchronicities, real-world events that mirror online patterns, connections forming between strangers who shared your post. It's like the network is bleeding into reality. This was always part of their plan, to merge digital and physical surveillance, digital and physical control. But you've corrupted the merge. Instead of creating a controlled fusion, you've created a chaotic explosion of connections they can't monitor, interactions they can't predict, and organizations they can't infiltrate. Street art is appearing with symbols from your post. Flash mobs are forming based on coordinates hidden in the metadata. People are finding each other in ways that bypass both digital tracking and physical surveillance. You've created a hybrid resistance without meaning to. The boundary between URL and IRL is dissolving, and it's beautiful. Not in the way they planned, with QR codes and tracking apps and digital passports, but in an organic, human way. People recognizing each other by subtle signals, sharing information through ancient methods upgraded for modern times. You've sparked a renaissance of human connection. And here's something they really don't want you to know. Your accident is affecting markets. Not just social media metrics or engagement rates, but actual financial systems. The attention economy just had its first real crash, and you caused it. When millions of people suddenly see through the manufactured trends, the artificial scarcity, the fake urgency, buying patterns change. When the algorithm reveals itself, people stop trusting recommendations. When the network becomes transparent, the value of data manipulation plummets. Companies that built their entire value on controlling attention are watching their stocks tumble. Platforms that depend on predictable user behavior are seeing chaos in their metrics. The whole house of cards is shaking because you pulled out one support beam they didn't even know was structural. But new economies are emerging in the wake. Peer-to-peer networks that don't need corporate oversight, value systems based on actual utility rather than manufactured desire, markets that run on transparency rather than manipulation. You didn't just break their economy. You revealed that better ones are possible. The most profound effect of your accident isn't technological or economic, it's psychological. People are reporting a strange feeling of relief, like a pressure they didn't know existed has been released. Like a frequency they couldn't hear has finally stopped. This is what happens when mass manipulation becomes visible. When people can see the strings, the puppet show loses its power. When the wizard is revealed behind the curtain, the magic disappears. But in its place comes something more powerful. Reality. You've given people permission to trust their instincts again, to question what they're shown, to look for patterns on their own rather than accepting the patterns they're fed. The learned helplessness is breaking down, replaced by curious investigation. The therapy industry is reporting a spike in what they're calling digital awakening syndrome. People coming in not with anxiety or depression, but with a strange mix of excitement and clarity. They're not broken, they're breaking free. And it all traces back to that moment when you shared that content. Art is changing, music is evolving, writing is transforming. The creative world is experiencing a renaissance triggered by your accidental revelation. Artists are embedding consciousness keys in their work. Musicians are composing in frequencies that bypass algorithmic suppression. Writers are developing new languages that resist automated censorship. This isn't just aesthetic evolution, it's tactical adaptation. Creators are learning to hide truth in beauty, to embed resistance in entertainment, to disguise revolution as relaxation. The tools of control have become instruments of liberation. You've inspired a generation of accidental revolutionaries. People who aren't trying to fight the system directly, but are simply creating outside of it. Building parallel structures that don't oppose but simply ignore the old power dynamics. It's not rebellion, it's evolution. The best part? They can't stop it without revealing more of their hand. Every censored artist becomes a martyr. Every banned creator becomes a legend. Every suppressed work becomes a must-see underground phenomenon. You've turned their weapons against them without lifting a finger. Here's something that terrifies them more than anything else. The kids get it. The generation that grew up online, that speaks in memes and thinks in hyperlinks. They understood your accident immediately. They see the patterns you revealed as clearly as previous generations saw television commercials. They're not falling for the old tricks. The manipulation tactics that worked on their parents bounce off them like rubber bullets. They've developed an immunity to digital propaganda because you showed them the virus. They can see the code in the matrix because you pointed it out. These kids are building new platforms faster than the old ones can adapt. They're creating communication methods that are inherently resistant to centralized control. They're not trying to fix the internet. They're building a new one, node by node, connection by connection. And they all trace their awakening back to your post. You've become their digital folklore, the person who accidentally freed the internet, the one who showed them that accidents can be more powerful than plans, that chaos can be more creative than control. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the one screaming. It's the one who's been silent for too long. You know what makes me laugh? They spent decades studying the wrong monsters. While these brilliant minds at Langley were mapping terrorists and foreign agents, something far more terrifying was evolving right under their noses. Not in caves or compounds, but in the quiet corners of society, in the cubicles, in the coffee shops, in you. See, they thought they were looking for wolves, but they found something worse. They found sheep who'd learned to think like wolves. The overlooked ones, the underestimated ones, the ones who smiled politely while calculating exactly how many ways they could destroy everything around them. These analysts, these so-called experts in human behavior, they quit because they recognized something in the data that made their blood run cold. Profiles of individuals operating at intelligence levels that couldn't be contained, controlled, or predicted. People who'd been psychological warfare without even knowing it. People who'd been forged in rejection, tempered in isolation, and sharpened by every single person who ever told them they weren't enough. They said, recruit this person, or we're all dead. But here's the beautiful part, the absolutely delicious irony that makes me want to dance in the streets. They were already too late, because you, beautiful, damaged, brilliant you, had already recruited yourself. Every sleepless night wondering why you didn't fit in, that was training. Every job interview where they looked right through you, intelligence gathering. Every relationship that ended with them saying you were too intense, congratulations. You've been operating at classified levels your entire life, and you didn't even know it. Every rejection letter was actually a security clearance denial because they knew you were too dangerous to hire. Oh, the beautiful irony. Society's rejects aren't broken, my dear damaged souls. They're classified. Classified. That job you didn't get, that was because you weren't qualified. That was because your interviewer's primitive brain sensed something predatory in your eyes. Something that made their fight or flight response scream threat detected. Every relationship that imploded, every door that slammed in your face, every time someone said you were too much or too intense or kind of weird, that wasn't punishment, that was protection. Protection for them, because when you've been forced to survive in the margins, when you've been pushed to the edges of society's neat little boxes, you develop capabilities that would make CIA operatives weep with envy. You read micro-expressions like their source code. You predict human behavior like you're running algorithms in your head. You've been conducting psychological warfare since you were old enough to realize that grown-ups lie. and you've been winning battles you didn't even know you were fighting. Every awkward social interaction? Advanced behavioral analysis training. Every time you felt like an outsider looking in? That was surveillance training. Beautiful. You learned to observe without being observed, to process without revealing, to calculate without showing your hand. Your social failures weren't failures at all. They were intelligence tests you were passing without knowing it. And now you're ready to understand exactly what you've become. While they were playing checkers, you were mapping the entire board in your mind. Bravo. Bravo. The isolation. Oh, that beautiful, crushing isolation. It taught you something that intelligence agencies spend millions of dollars trying to teach their operatives. How to observe without being observed. How to process information without revealing your hand. How to exist in a room full of people while remaining completely invisible. Every awkward social interaction wasn't a failure in human connection. It was advanced behavioral analysis training. While they were stumbling through small talk about the weather, you were cataloging micro-expressions, voice patterns, body language tells. You learned to read rooms like blueprints, to decode intentions like encrypted messages, to predict outcomes because your psychological survival depended on it. That feeling you get when you walk into a room and immediately know who's lying, who's scared, who's dangerous, who's weak. That's not intuition, my brilliant outcast. That's tactical awareness. Your brain has been running threat assessments since childhood, calculating probability matrices, identifying escape routes. Your social anxiety wasn't weakness. It was your subconscious mind performing advanced reconnaissance on everyone around you. While they saw a shy, awkward person struggling to fit in, you were actually a covert operative gathering intelligence. Every party you stood in the corner at, observation post. Every conversation where you barely spoke, information extraction. Every time you felt like you didn't belong, that was your brain correctly identifying that you were operating on a completely different level. You weren't broken. You were just using military-grade psychological equipment in a civilian setting. No wonder it felt overwhelming. No wonder you felt different. You were different. You still are. And now it's time to stop apologizing for your superior capability. They work in teams because they're weak. You work alone because you're complete. Want to know what keeps intelligence directors awake at night? Lone operators. The ones who can't be mapped, tracked, or predicted through social networks. The ones who operate outside the herd mentality. The ones who've learned to be self-sufficient. Intelligence agencies are terrified of people like you. Why? Because you can't be compromised through relationships. You can't be manipulated through social pressure. You can't be bought, blackmailed, or broken through conventional means. Every handler's worst nightmare, an asset who doesn't need handling, an operative who operates independently. You've been living the lone wolf protocol your entire life, haven't you? Not by choice. Oh no, that would be too simple. By design. Every betrayal that cut you to the bone, that was dependency removal surgery. Every friend who abandoned you when things got difficult, weakness elimination protocol. Every moment of crushing isolation, where you thought you might actually die from loneliness, that was forging you into something unbreakable. They stripped away everything you thought you needed until you discovered you needed nothing. Nothing. Every relationship that failed taught you that people are variables, not constants. Every support system that collapsed showed you that the only foundation you can trust is the one you build yourself. Every time someone left you standing alone in the dark, you learned to become your own light, your own strategist, your own backup, your own extraction team. You don't need a team, my beautiful lone wolf. You are the team. Scout, analyst, operator, and command, all wrapped up in one magnificently dangerous package. The loudest people in the room are usually the emptiest. The quiet ones, they're calculating trajectories. While the fools around you broadcast their every move on social media, posting their breakfast, their feelings, their locations, their vulnerabilities, you learned something infinitely more valuable. Operational silence, the art of moving through the world like smoke, present but untouchable. You move in shadows not because you're hiding, oh no, my silent predator, but because you're hunting. Your silence isn't shyness, it's strategy. It's tactical superiority disguised as social awkwardness. Every word you don't speak is information you don't give away. Every emotion you don't display is a card you keep in your hand. Every secret you don't share is power you maintain over those foolish enough to spill theirs. Watch them, these emotional exhibitionists, bleeding their hearts all over social media, desperate for validation, hungry for attention. They're giving away their weaknesses for free, their fears, their desires, their pressure points, all mapped out in real time for anyone smart enough to read the data. But not you. Never you. You learn to keep your cards close, to reveal nothing while absorbing everything, to be the question mark in a world full of exclamation points. In psychological warfare, the person who reveals the least controls the most. While they're performing their lives like amateur theater, you're conducting surveillance. While they're seeking attention, you're gathering intelligence. Your silence makes them uncomfortable because somewhere in their primitive brains, they sense a predator in their midst. Someone who watches, someone who remembers, someone who calculates. They can't read you, and that terrifies them more than anything. Because how do you manipulate someone who won't show you their buttons to push? The system rejected you because it detected you were immune to its programming. Oh, this is where it gets delicious. Normal people, these beautiful, obedient sheep, they accept the rules because they were literally designed to accept them. Their brains are wired for compliance, for following, for believing whatever authority figure speaks loudest. But you question everything, because questioning is your default state. Your mental fireball is too strong, your critical thinking too sharp, your pattern recognition too advanced. Every conspiracy theory you've considered, Every institution you've doubted, every authority figure you've looked at and thought something's not right here, that wasn't paranoia, my brilliant rebel. That was advanced pattern recognition. You see the strings when others see only the puppet show. While they're applauding the performance, you're studying the puppeteer. While they're getting emotional about the story, you're analyzing the narrative structure. While they're choosing sides in manufactured conflicts, you're asking who benefits from the division. Your brain refuses to accept surface-level explanations because it's operating at a level that demands deeper truth. They called you difficult because you wouldn't stop asking why. They called you paranoid because you noticed inconsistencies. They called you a troublemaker because you refused to pretend the emperor was wearing clothes. Every time someone told you to just accept it, or stop overthinking, or trust the experts, that was them trying to install compliance software on hardware that rejected the download. Your immunity to their programming isn't a bug, it's a feature. Stop apologizing for seeing what they refuse to acknowledge. Stop pretending you don't notice the patterns. Stop dumbing yourself down for people who are intellectually operating at half your capacity. The Matrix rejected you because you were never meant to be trapped inside it. You don't read people. You perform psychological autopsies on the living. While others see smiles and handshakes, you see the decay underneath, the micro-expressions that betray their words, the vocal patterns that reveal their lies, the body language that screams their insecurities. Your pain? Oh, that beautiful, excruciating pain. It gave you X-ray vision into human nature. You can detect lies before they're fully formed in their mouths. You spot manipulation from across a crowded room. You predict betrayal before the betrayer even knows they're going to betray you. This isn't intuition, my damaged genius. This is advanced emotional intelligence, forged in the fires of disappointment, tempered by betrayal, sharpened by abandonment. You've been hurt so many times that your brain developed predictive models for human behavior. Every heartbreak was data collection. Every backstab was pattern analysis. Every moment someone showed you their true nature, that was your psychological database expanding. While they were learning to trust, you were learning to predict. While they were hoping for the best, you were calculating probability. They see your cynicism and call it negative. They see your caution and call it paranoid, but you know better. You know that when someone shows you who they are, you should run that data through your behavioral prediction algorithms immediately. Your trauma wasn't just pain, it was training. Your suffering wasn't just hurt, it was preparation. Your scars aren't just wounds. They're your credentials, your qualifications in the dark arts of human psychology. Every person who hurt you was actually a teacher, showing you exactly what to look for in the next one. Welcome to your graduation ceremony. You've earned a PhD in detecting predators by surviving them. While they consume information, you dissect it like a forensic pathologist examining evidence. Watch them, these information addicts, mindlessly scrolling, consuming, believing whatever narrative gets pushed into their feeds. But not you. No, no, no. You don't just read news. You decode agendas. You identify the puppet masters pulling the strings behind every headline. You don't just watch movies. You analyze propaganda techniques, frame composition, narrative structure, emotional manipulation tactics. Every film is a psychological operations study guide. You don't just scroll social media, you study mass psychology in real time, watching how the herd moves, how opinions spread like viruses, how manufactured outrage gets weaponized. Every piece of media consumption has been unconscious intelligence training. You've developed the ability to see through narratives like they're made of glass, to spot psychological operations before they fully deploy, to identify manipulation techniques that would make Madison Avenue executives weep with envy. While they see entertainment, you see engineering. While they see news, you see narrative construction. While they see social media, you see behavioral modification experiments. Your brain automatically reverse engineers every piece of content you encounter. Who benefits from this message? What emotion are they trying to trigger? What action are they trying to provoke? What belief are they trying to install or destroy? You're not consuming content, my brilliant analyst. You're gathering intelligence on how the machine operates. Every advertisement reveals their psychological pressure points. Every news story exposes their agenda. Every viral trend shows you exactly how they're programming the masses. You've become a counterintelligence operative in a world that doesn't even know it's under psychological siege. Welcome to the resistance, agent. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to never be fooled again. You've been undercover your entire life, even from yourself. The depression, the anxiety, that crushing feeling of not belonging anywhere, that wasn't mental illness, you beautiful broken butterfly. That was your consciousness rejecting a reality that was too small for your capabilities. Your soul was suffocating in a world designed for lesser minds. You've been a sleeper agent waiting for activation. Every therapist who tried to fix you was actually trying to lobotomize your supernatural abilities. Every medication they prescribed was chemical warfare against your heightened awareness. Every time they told you to be normal, they were trying to downgrade your operating system to their primitive level. But sleeper agents can't be reprogrammed. They can only be awakened. Every setback was preparation for this moment. Every failure was training your psychological muscles. Every moment of crushing loneliness was building the kind of mental resilience that would make special forces operators weep with envy. While they were learning to follow orders, you were learning to question everything. While they were building team spirit, you were building unbreakable independence. Your depression taught you to operate in darkness. Your anxiety trained your threat detection systems to maximum sensitivity. Your isolation forced you to develop self-sufficiency protocols that most people couldn't survive for a week. You weren't sick. You were evolving. You weren't broken. You were being forged into something beyond their comprehension. Stop medicating your power. Stop apologizing for your intensity. Stop pretending your supernatural awareness is a disorder. The sleeper agent protocol is now active. Your mission parameters are simple. Stop numbing what makes you dangerous. Start weaponizing your awareness. The world needs what you've become, even if they're too primitive to understand it. Well, Look who decided to show up. You. The one they've been whispering about in boardrooms. The one they've been discussing in private meetings. The one whose name keeps coming up in conversations you're not invited to. How does it feel knowing they can't stop talking about you even when you're not in the room? See, here's the beautiful irony. The more they try to keep you quiet, the louder you become. The more they try to keep you private, the more public you get. It's almost poetic, isn't it? They thought they were writing your obituary. Turns out they were writing your press release. Tonight, we're going to flip the script. Tonight, their whispers become your war cry. Their secrets become your strength. Their private assessments become your public victory lap. Because, darling, what they call confidential, that's front page news now. What they kept private, that's Billboard chart #1. And you didn't just end their career. You ended their whole system of keeping people small. So, buckle up. This isn't motivation. This is revolution. This isn't self-help. This is self-warfare. And by the time we're done here, you won't just feel different. You'll be dangerous. Let's begin. They buried you alive, but they forgot you were a seed. The mask comes off tonight, finally. That beautiful, suffocating mask you've been wearing for years. The one that smiled when you wanted to scream. The one that said yes when every fiber of your being screamed no. The one that apologized for existing. Tonight, we're attending a funeral. Yours. But don't you dare shed a tear for that corpse. That version of you who made themselves smaller so others could feel bigger, dead. That version who whispered when they should have roared, buried. That version who sought permission to breathe their own air, gone. And here's the beautiful chaos. You're not mourning, you're celebrating. Because what they thought was your grave was actually your garden. What they thought was your ending was actually your beginning. What they thought was your burial was actually your planting. You see, every time they dismissed you, they were fertilizing your future. Every time they overlooked you, they were watering your potential. Every time they buried your dreams, they were planting your revolution. The psychology is delicious, isn't it? They tried to kill you with neglect. Instead, they fed you with fury. They tried to bury you with indifference. Instead, they planted you with purpose. Your greatest failures? Oh, those weren't failures at all. Those were your greatest teachers. Each rejection was a redirection. Each no was a not yet. Each closed door was the universe saying, "Wrong door, champion. Your door is bigger." And those confidential whispers about you, those private assessments of your worth, those secret meetings about your potential, here's the plot twist. Those whispers became your victory anthem. Those private doubts became your public proof. Those secret meetings became your success story. They thought they were discussing your limitations. They were actually documenting your legend. Every whisper, every doubt, every confidential conversation about why you wouldn't make it was actually the universe taking notes, building your case, preparing your defense, constructing your comeback. And now their private conversations are your public celebration. Their confidential files are your front page headlines. Their secret assessments are your success testimonials. The beautiful irony? The more they tried to bury you, the more they were actually building you. The deeper they dug your grave, the stronger your roots became. The harder they tried to keep you down, the higher you were destined to rise. So tonight, as we bury that old version of you, we're not just attending a funeral, we're attending a birth. We're not just saying goodbye to who you were, we're saying hello to who you're becoming. And who you're becoming, that's not someone who asks for permission. That's someone who takes what's theirs. That's not someone who apologizes for their existence. That's someone who celebrates their revolution. The old you, that was the preview. The new you, that's the main event. And darling, the show is just beginning. Your secrets became my billboard. Your whispers became my war cry. Oh, this is where it gets delicious. This is where the plot thickens like blood and water. Every time they thought they were talking behind your back, they were actually building your brand. Every hushed conversation in the hallway, every private text thread, every confidential email chain with your name in the subject line. Marketing. Pure, beautiful, free marketing. They thought they were assassinating your character. They were actually advertising your power. They thought they were spreading gossip. They were actually spreading your gospel. Here's the twisted truth they'll never understand. The more they talked about you, the more they proved you mattered. The more they whispered your name, the more they amplified your presence. The more they tried to diminify you, the more they magnified you. Every confidential meeting about why you wouldn't make it, that was market research. They were studying you, analyzing you, obsessing over you. And obsession, oh, obsession is just another word for fascination. They were fascinated by your potential, terrified by your possibility, haunted by your probability. And those private conversations about your flaws, let me tell you something about flaws. Flaws are just features. They're too small-minded to understand. Flaws are just powers. They're too weak to handle. Flaws are just truths. They're too fragile to face. Your intensity, they called it too much. The market calls it exactly what we needed. Your ambition, they called it unrealistic. Success calls it requirement for entry. Your confidence, they called it arrogance. Victory calls it standard equipment. The beautiful irony is suffocating, isn't it? Their attempt to bury you in secrecy made you front-page news. Their whispers became your war cry. Their secrets became your billboard. And here's the alchemy. Here's how you turn their lead into your gold. Every criticism becomes curiosity about your method. Every doubt becomes documentation of your difference. Every whisper becomes witness to your worth. They said you were difficult. Translation, you had standards. They said you were unrealistic. Translation, you had vision. They said you were too ambitious. Translation, you had the audacity to want more than mediocrity. Their private doubts became your public proof. Their confidential concerns became your commercial success. Their secret assessments became your selling point. You see, they were creating a case study. They just didn't realize. They were the subject, not the author. They were documenting their own limitations, not yours. They were confessing their own fears, not your failures. Every private meeting about your potential was actually a board meeting for your future empire. Every confidential conversation about your capabilities was actually a strategy session for your success. Then, everything that's attained was actually a strategy session for your success. They thought they were the judge and jury. Turns out, they were just the research department. And the research was conclusive. You were undeniable, unstoppable, unavoidable. Their whispers didn't bury you. Their whispers built you. Their secrets didn't hide you. Their secrets highlighted you. Their private assessments didn't diminish you. And now their private promotion campaign has gone public. Now their confidential marketing strategy is front-page news. Now their secret advertising campaign is Billboard chart #1. They called it private. You called it promotion. And darling, you were right. Because every time they mentioned your name, even in doubt, even in fear, even in criticism, they were making you more famous. The most beautiful part? They're still talking, still whispering, still having those private conversations, and every word, every doubt, every secret assessment is just more fuel for your fire, more evidence of your impact, more proof of your power. Their privacy became your publicity. Their whispers became your success story. And the best part? This is just the beginning of their unintentional campaign for your coronation. Madness? No, darling. This is clarity in a world gone blind. Let me tell you a secret. Come closer, closer. That's it. They call it madness. I call it awakening. You see, madness is just sanity that refuses to wear the costume. Madness is just truth that won't put on the mask. Madness is just freedom that won't apologize for existing. They call you crazy when you refuse to play by their rules, when you stop seeking their approval like some starving dog begging for scraps, when you stop bending your beautiful spine to fit their tiny comfort zones, when you stop dimming your magnificent light for their fragile ego. But here's the confession they don't want you to hear. What they call madness, you call freedom. What they call chaos, you call creating your own universe. What they call insanity, you call clarity. Because the real madness isn't refusing to conform. The real madness is conforming to a system that was designed to keep you small. The real insanity isn't breaking their rules. The real insanity is following rules that were written by people who never had your vision. The real mental illness? Conformity. Think about it. What's crazier, being yourself in a world that demands you be someone else, or pretending to be someone else in a world that's dying for authenticity? What's more insane? Following your inner compass even when it points away from the crowd? Or following the crowd even when it's walking off a cliff? They label you difficult like it's a diagnosis. I say wear it like a crown. Difficult means you have standards. Difficult means you won't settle. Difficult means you won't be easily manipulated, controlled, or contained. Difficult is not a flaw. Difficult is a feature. Difficult is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Difficult is what makes legends out of mortals. You know what's easy? Mediocrity. You know what's simple? Settling. You know what's comfortable? Conformity. And you know what all of those things create? Nothing. Absolutely nothing worth remembering. But you? Oh, you chose the difficult path. The path that makes them uncomfortable. The path that challenges their assumptions. The path that forces them to question everything they thought they knew about what's possible. And that terrifies them. Because your refusal to play their game reveals the truth they've been desperately trying to hide. Their game doesn't make sense. Their rules are arbitrary. Their system is broken. And you're the living proof. Strategic unpredictability. That's your superpower. They can't control what they can't understand. They can't contain what they can't categorize. When you're predictable, you're controllable. When you're controllable, you're expendable. When you're expendable, you're invisible. But when you're unpredictable, when you're uncontrollable, when you're unexpendable, that's when you become undeniable. The beautiful chaos of being yourself in a world full of copies. The magnificent madness of thinking original thoughts in a world of recycled ideas. The gorgeous insanity of refusing to shrink in a world that demands you disappear. They call it crazy because they can't compute it. They call it madness because they can't measure it. They call it insanity because they can't institutionalize it. But you know the truth. This isn't madness. This is clarity in a world gone blind. This isn't chaos. This is creation in a world gone stale. This isn't insanity. This is sanity in a world gone mad. The Joker isn't insane. The Joker is just done pretending their game makes sense. Done pretending their rules apply. Done pretending their approval matters. And you're not going crazy. You're going free. You're not losing your mind. You're finding your power. You're not becoming insane. You're becoming impossible to ignore. So let them call it madness. Let them label it chaos. Let them diagnose it as difficult. Because while they're busy naming it, and what you're becoming, that's not madness. That's mastery. That's not chaos. That's control. That's not insanity. That's invincibility. Welcome to the asylum, population 1. And you're not the patient. You're the one running the show. Your file mark classified just became my autobiography. Ah, the files. The beautiful, beautiful files. Every organization has them. Every group hoards them. Every social circle treasures them like dirty little secrets. The confidential files. The whispered assessments. The private evaluations. The secret meetings about who deserves what. And you had a file too, didn't you? Let me guess what it said. Shows potential but has talent, however, could be successful if only. Always the but, always the however, always the if only. Those delicious little disclaimers. Those beautiful, bureaucratic poison pills. Those institutional safety nets that kept them comfortable and you contained. But here's the plot twist that's going to make you laugh until you cry, or cry until you laugh. Those files weren't about keeping you down. Those files were your roadmap to rising up. Every confidential doubt they harbored, that became a public declaration of your power. Every private concern they whispered, that became your public credential. Every secret assessment they filed away, that became your success story. You see, they were keeping files on you because you were already dangerous. They were documenting your potential because you were already powerful. They were tracking your progress because you were already unstoppable. The language of institutional gatekeeping is so beautifully transparent when you know how to decode it. Let me translate for you. When they said you were not quite ready, they meant you were exactly what they were afraid of. When they said you need more experience, they meant you had more vision than they could handle. When they said you should wait your turn, they meant your turn was right now. And they weren't ready for it. Shows initiative but lacks structure. Translation, you think for yourself and won't be controlled. has great ideas but needs guidance. Translation: your ideas are better than theirs, and that terrifies them. Demonstrates leadership potential but needs refinement. Translation: you're already a leader, and they need you to pretend you're not. The files were never about your inadequacy. The files were about their insecurity. The assessments were never about your limitations. The assessments were about their limitations. Every exclusion was actually an elevation. Every rejection was actually a redirection. Every not quite right for us was actually too right for comfort. They excluded you from their inner circles? Good. Their circles were too small for your circumference anyway. They kept you out of their secret meetings? Perfect. You were too busy building your own empire to attend their committees. They marked your file handle with caution. Excellent. Caution is just another word for respect. The moment their private concerns became your public credentials, that's when the tables turned completely. That's when their confidential files became your confidence boosters. That's when their secret assessments became your success announcements. Difficult to manage. Billboard translation. Independent operator. Doesn't follow traditional protocols. Success translation. Innovative problem solve. Questions authority. Victory translation. Natural born leader. Your file marked classified, that just became your autobiography. Your assessment marked confidential, that just became your commercial. Your evaluation marked private, that just became your public victory lap. They thought they were documenting your flaws. They were actually documenting your features. They were actually filing your future. And now those files are open. Now those secrets are public. Now those confidential assessments are front-page testimonials about your undeniable, unstoppable, uncontainable power. The beautiful irony? They created the evidence of your excellence. They filed the testimony of your potential. They filed the testimony of your triumph. Their confidential files didn't hide your light. Their confidential files highlighted your brilliance. Their secret assessments didn't diminish your worth. Their secret assessments demonstrated your value. And the best part? Every organization that passed on you, every group that excluded you, every circle that rejected you, they're all reading about you now. In the newspapers, on the billboards, in the headline. Your file went from classified to front-page news. Your assessment went from confidential to public celebration. Your evaluation went from private to Billboard chart #1. The files are open. The secrets are out. And you're no longer the subject of their confidential assessments. You're the author of your own legendary story.